Welcome to the Climate and Water Outlook for November 2020 to January 2021. La Niña is now underway, so rainfall through to January is likely to be above average for much of the country. With wet soils already in eastern Australia, the risk of flooding with heavy rains is higher than normal. But first, let's look at recent conditions. October was wetter than average for much of Australia. Heavy rainfall along the New South Wales coast included 186 millimetres in 12 hours at Williamtown on the 26th of October. Northern Australia has had some build-up rains, with 113 millimetres at Darwin Airport on the 8th of October, a new daily record for October. The key exception was southwest Western Australia, which last saw good widespread rainfall in February. Significant rainfall is good for filling dams, but can be difficult for spring harvest and can lead to flooding when soils are wetter than normal. October days were cooler than average through central Australia, although warmer than average elsewhere. The recent rain and near average temperatures mean soil moisture is now above average for much of the eastern two-thirds of Australia. With wet landscapes, many water storage levels across southern Australia have improved on last year. However, storage levels in Tasmania and in southwest Western Australia are lower than in October 2019. So, what will influence our climate in the coming months? In the Pacific Ocean, La Niña is well established, with cooler than normal water in the central and eastern Pacific. This pattern is likely to continue through summer. La Niña typically increases the likelihood of above average rainfall over summer across much of eastern Australia. To the west of Australia, the Indian Ocean Dipole is likely to remain neutral in the coming months. Warmer waters to the north of Australia also increase the chance of rainfall over the summer. In recent months, we've also seen the Southern Annular Mode, or SAM, tend towards more positive values, which is something we often see during La Niña events. With weather systems further south than normal, this means more easterly winds over southeast Australia, higher humidity, and increased chances of more rainfall. But a positive SAM can also have a drying influence on western Tasmania. With wet climate driver signals dominant, November to January is likely to be wetter than average across most of Australia, except western Tasmania. The streamflow outlook for October to December suggests near-median streamflows are likely at most locations. The forecast high flows are mainly expected in the southeast. With wetter catchments and above-average rainfall likely, there is an increased risk of widespread flooding in some parts of the east. November to January days are likely to be warmer than average through central Australia and Tasmania, but cooler than average in coastal New South Wales. Nights are very likely to be warmer than average across most of the country during the 3 months November to January. The tropical cyclone season begins in November across northern Australia. La Niña means we are expecting average to above average numbers of tropical cyclones and tropical lows. Australia has had at least one tropical cyclone cross the coast in every year since the 1970s. Communities in northern Australia need to stay prepared and informed throughout the tropical cyclone season. So, in summary, November 2020 to January 2021 is likely to see above average rainfall across most of Australia, warmer than average days in central Australia and Tasmania, but cooler than average in coastal New South Wales, near median streamflows at most locations, and average to above average numbers of tropical cyclones across the north. Thanks for joining us. You can find out more about our outlooks on our website. We'll see you next time.